What's up YouTube, and welcome back to Detox Proxy. That's what the bay looks like here. So I have picked out another trail to walk today. I've been kind of exhausting myself a little bit. You know, I kind of wanted to start taking it a little bit easier because every day I've been just going full tilt. I found a trail just off the highway, not too far from here. It looks rather easy to do. And after that, there's another site that I'd like to go look at called Balance Rock. It's basically a giant rock balancing on its base. Anyway, so I think I'm just gonna have some yogurt for breakfast this morning. I slept really well in that bed. I didn't think I was going to, but I did. So gonna pack up and get a move on. So I've just driven down the highway a little bit and come to this spot called Spirit Lake Trail. So this is what I'm going to be walking this morning. Apparently it's not too bad of a trail to walk, quite easy. And I'm at that point where I'm gonna start to have to trying to take it easy because I have really been going for it these last few days, wearing myself out, I guess. I'll take a quick look at the map here. So there's a few different ways you can go. So this green part of the trail, which we're right here, is about 1 kilometer. The blue trail that circles around the entire lake is about 2.5 kilometers. This little section here is about 0.5 kilometer. So I may just kind of like come in here, loop around, kind of loop through here, and then back up through this way. Something like that, I think. And something about the wildlife, there is bears here. I did actually pack bear spray with me. It's the first time I ever have, and the can's good for 5 years. So you know, I can't remember what I spent on it, $60 or $70 maybe. But if I continue doing these trips, then I'm gonna want to have something like that with me. As for the other wildlife, the deer, there is so many deer here that I guarantee I've seen at least 50 so far on the side of the road. And sometimes they are literally standing on the edge of the road grazing. And I guess that's why there's so many of them hit here. And the lady that actually owned this forester before me used to live here with that forester, and she clipped a deer with that forester. Something else I've seen is what I thought was some type of grouse or some type of bird, dark color, non-flying, because this thing was, as soon as it saw me on the road, it just darted. And I really couldn't figure out what it was. Then on that trip from Rennell Sound up to Masset, I saw like 3 or 4 of them on the road, and they're wild chickens. So I had to look it up, and yes, there's wild chickens here. So deer, raccoons, wild chickens, and bears. So I'm just about to head out, but I'm gonna have some yogurt first. Well, I'm gonna start with 2, and if that seems to do it, then I'll leave it there. But I've got 2 more out if I feel that I need them. Okay, so I just started walking. Trailhead is just over there. I could hear another car pull in, so might as well get a move on, I guess. The trail is very flat, easy, gravel. But yeah, it looks like this for a little ways anyway. And I'll probably bring out the camera again as we get closer to the lake. So I've just started into the blue trail, which kind of goes around the lake, which is like really, you know, just a kind of a swamp, I guess. There's just a lot of rotted wood and fallen trees in it. But I want to give you guys a little camera view as we go along, kind of like I did yesterday in the last video. So apparently as the story goes, the beast, some kind of mythical creature, would pull children into here and devour them. Really easy trail to walk. The first part is quite an incline, and take a small break as you get to the end of it, but some nice shady spots. You want to see a wild flush of mushrooms? Look at that stack. And they just continue along this trail. Even more starting over here. So I just came down through this really cool area right out to the opening that kind of looks over the lake. I've been coming across a lot of different styled mushrooms, and I've just got this fascination with them. And a lot of people don't realize that BC was kind of the original place, other than Mexico, where they started finding wild strains of magic mushrooms. And it happened down in University of British Columbia. A bunch of students found a field with a bunch of these little liberty caps, and they started experimenting with them, found out that they had psilocybin, and then word kind of spread. And where a lot of people were finding them was here on Haida Gwaii. And a lot of people would travel here in the 70s to mushroom pick psilocybin liberty caps. I've been taking pictures of tons and tons of mushrooms, and I haven't seen anything that looks anything like them. So off the main trail, I found this little trail. I had this sign. And it's kind of like more of a homemade sign, use it at your own risk. And it kind of shows where the lookout point is compared to where we are. It looks like a good hike. And I have enough water. Let's go for it. It's getting a little better. They've got these fallen trees down that kind of create the trail, give it kind of a boardwalk. Well, I don't know if they just haven't gone any further with this trail or what, because I can't find where else to go. So there's the orange markers down there, and that's kind of where I came up. Oh, maybe it's over through here. Yes, I found it. I don't know what's going on. Now I'm going back down, and there's like a roped fence because it's kind of a drop off. But I thought the lookout would be somewhere up here because we're kind of coming down on the other side of this now. But I'll just keep on following along. Can't be a whole lot further. So I've come up to this Y in the road, the path anyway, and there's another sign, and they show us where we are. So we've trekked all the way through here, which is, you know, up till about this point is quite difficult. I wouldn't say difficult, but it's not easy. And then this last little portion is really nice, but standing here and looking down this way, it looks like you can actually come in from the road there, and I think I've seen that entry point, but the lookout points are here, so we've got some more hiking to go through here. And then to get back to the vehicle, we got to go through the most difficult part, back down to the lake system of trails. So I'm just getting to the top of this trail. It's quite a climb up here, and I see this sign. We now gotten from that Y up to the loop, about to head out to these lookout points and do a little bit of filming there, I guess. This is kind of all off the agenda, so I've used a lot more energy than I thought I was going to. After the loop, I think it's probably the easiest thing to do at this point, because this was such such a trek to get through here is maybe just go down through here. I don't know if it'll be any better or worse. And then a long walk along the highway. Yeah, I might have to rethink that just because with the sun coming down and the way it eats me up, it might just be better to make my way through the woods again. And it's when you get to this point that you realize it was well worth it. Absolutely amazing, amazing. Well worth it. It's still early in the day, but I've been out here for a few hours now, almost 3 hours. So it's going to take me almost 3 hours to get back there, and I still want to get to go to see that balanced rock today as well. So I'm just trying to take it easy. I still have plenty of water, and I'm just trying to take it a little bit slower than my normal pace because I'm usually just marching myself to death. So this turned into not so basic trail anymore. I just came down this way. I got this kind of rope to hold on to, but it's like, you know, a drop off from here. And actually kind of go down into it this way. And they have a few ropes that are not so tight anymore. So I gotta be pretty careful. Now I am sure glad these ropes are here because yeah, you kind of need them. And I can hear the highway not too far from the water. Just a little further down, I can actually see the highway. And there's maybe someone's home right over here. Actually, that could be a path right there. And to be honest, I've been out here for enough hours that, I mean, this being the halfway point probably to make my way all the way back from how I came. This looks very inviting right now. So I don't know if I'm gonna try and make my way down there and then just walk along the highway because the sun will be on my back and it won't be so bad. Yeah, maybe I'll try and do this. And what was about three and a quarter hours through the woods, it was about a 20-minute walk down the highway. Yeah, seriously. And there is Balance Rock. And of course the tides come right up this time of the day. I think usually you can just walk right around this thing. I think I'll find a not so windy spot, maybe set up, have this in the background. Look at the water that's come up already. There's just a little bit of piece right here that you can walk on. Made it just in the right time. So I just got a little spot set up here quickly, kind of blocked out of the wind. I mean, we are on the ocean, you gotta understand. I'm glad that I actually at least got to kind of, you know, walk around the rock. The water's come up really far at this point. That hike really took a lot out of me. Wasn't planning to take that extra route for the lookout points. Just thinking about it, you know, I was in there just over 3 hours, like maybe 3 1/4. And if it was going to take me another 3 1/4 or 3 1/2 to get out, I would have been just absolutely beat by the time I got out of there. I was very lucky to come up to see that kind of opening and that little trail leading down to the road. So the trail that goes around the lake is really nice, very easy to walk, very much like a Prince Rupert type of trail. Going towards those lookout points from the Spirit Lake Trail, I would call that more moderate to difficult. There's some sections where a lot of people would have trouble, especially elderly. Do not, you know, if you're an elderly person, do not try and go up through that trail. It says use at your own risk for a reason. The lookout points themselves, even if you were to come up from the highway, they are very treacherous. I actually did slip at one point because they had these footsteps, which were just chunks of tree trunk as footings, and they were really slick, and I slipped on one. Kind of landed on my bag for the most part, I should say. At the same time, I really wonder what that would be like to do not on 2 grams of mushrooms, because I dosed 2 grams of mushrooms like 3 or 4 hours ago. So maybe that just gave me the extra to get through it. It was an awesome adventure, I gotta say. If I had to go back through, absolutely I could do it. I had enough water to make it my way back. But at the same time, I'm very glad that I didn't. It's getting into the mid-afternoon, and the sun is absolutely beating down on me. I've got quite a bit of sun, a little bit of sunburn on my neck. Just being out here this past week, it's been so beautiful, and the last couple days that I have here are supposed to be just this nice. I'm really looking forward to camping out in the Forester these last couple nights, but I do have one night left in the hotel. But yeah, maybe I'll just take a quick peek down the beach here, and then I gotta think about heading back and getting out of the sun anyway. Just out here for about half an hour, and that thing is already surrounded with water. A rock sitting on water. Really hungry. I did eat some peanuts and the rest of that jerky earlier, but I'm just starving. So I decided, well, I'll come back to the trailhead because it was really quiet and empty here, and it's literally the same distance from the other place I cooked chili yesterday. So got food heating, and I'm just going to have a bite to eat, probably chill out for a little bit. I'm probably going to call it an early night again, because I want to get up and get an early start so that I can get out to probably going to go out to that same site we were when it was pouring rain in the first video. But there's one other place I'd like to check before that, so I think we're going to take a little detour off the main highway just to check one other spot, and if it's busy there, then we'll head out to Rennell Sound again. Finished eating my chili and came back towards the hotel, and I'm walking along the beach, and I've found a live oyster. And look at this, just clusters and clusters of mussels. Watch this tiny little crab out. That's all he is. He just digs himself right back in there. I know it's dark out here. It's close to 10 o'clock. I just got the moonlight shining on my face, trying so you guys can see me. But I'm planning on getting an early start in the morning to head out to Rennell Sound. Okay, so I've gotten up early morning and I'm all ready to go. I've gotten out of the hotel room. I'm ready to head to the next site. I stopped and got fuel. That cost me over $100. Just because I guess, you know, it was a full service station. Gas is a little bit more here. I thought it was gonna be like $3 a liter, but it wasn't. So I just said, fill it. And sure enough, he tried to get as much in as he could. So I am ready to continue on here. I've got plenty of fuel. I just picked up a bag of ice. There's not much things I have to keep cool at this point, but coming to the end of the trip, I still want to use the couple items that I have. I literally haven't bought a meal the whole time here, so we're ready to get a move on and get to Rennell Sound. Okay, so I've made it to Rennell Sound. I ended up coming down through checking all the campsites. The one down on the water that I had last week is gone, and a couple more are gone along the front there. There's probably like 3 groups down in there. But this first one, the first one that I came to when I came down here, is open, and the one next to it's open. Just letting the Forester run so I can charge some more batteries before I shut down. And I'm going to get some food on the go because I haven't eaten yet. So yeah, gonna get some food on the go, and then maybe we'll take a stroll down by the water. Just heating some water so I can have some tea, and I'm about to mow down. pretty much got all this sorted now. A couple logs to burn. They're just kind of sitting on top there, drying out. Got plenty of stuff to get us started. The ring on the fire is built up. But I'm gonna head down to the water and look for a good fire poker out of some driftwood. Hopefully I can find something. And then just kind of scout out the scene here a little bit. This is the little trail that comes down from my camp. Kind of down through here. And I was just out back in the woods across the road collecting some more wood. And as I came back to the camp, I was like, whoa. It's like that water's come up far away already. So just come down the beach a little bit and there's a camper and a boat and an RV sitting over there. I was all here the last time and there was no one here. I assume that's been abandoned because it looks like it's starting to be parted out. But I did find 2 good pieces of driftwood. I like this piece here. Good to poke with, nice and smooth. But I also found a starfish. Looks like he might have been sitting out here in the sun a little bit too long. Well, it looks like it's starfish day, because I found another one. He's a little bit more discolored, I guess. Just have a look at that. The beach is almost gone now. I was walking down around there just an hour and a half ago or so. Just such an amazing day here. And I'm really not sure what time the tide will go low, but we'll come back down and check things out later. Now I've literally just been chilling, sitting in the sun. I decided I would use this stick as my fire poker, and it had some weird knots coming out of it, so I ended up carving them out. And we're just gonna go for a quick little walk. I kind of found a secret little spot up in the woods that probably not a lot of people actually know about. Let's go check it out. So kind of just across the entrance to the other sites, you've got this. And what I found strange is I didn't even see it. I started walking in through the woods over here looking for wood, and then I noticed this lane, so I started to walk it. And as we get a little further along, like there's nothing down here. It's just a logging road or whatever, a service road. And then it kind of comes up to this Y in the road, and going down that way goes back down to the main road that we came in on. But up in here, and you could tell like no one's been up in here. There's no tire tracks. This piece of wood across the lane, I actually stepped on it and broke it, so it's been there a little while at least, maybe during that last storm that we were here. But right at the end here is just this little kind of marshy spot. I mean it's dry right now, it might not be during the rain, and I gotta watch my footing because I'm in sandals right now. But I think a lot of this is probably just overgrown trees, literally, like just fallen trees that are all through here. But the river is just over here. It's an amazing little view. And just if you enjoy the sound of that at nighttime, this is a dope little spot too. And especially like if you make the drive all the way in here and you know all those spots are taken up, at least you have this as a possible option, because driving further down there doesn't seem to be anything that you can really be secluded anyway. And there's a couple of these little walkouts to kind of get to the water again, have another look. Now this for me is what Haida Gwaii was supposed to be about, is just coming out into the woods, being alone, witnessing nature, and breaking free of everything that's out there. Then just another shot coming down out of here. so amazing, so fairy tale like, I guess. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to get something to eat soon anyway. Starting to get a little bit hungry. As soon as the sun starts to get a little past the campsite, then I will think about getting that fire started. The sun hasn't gone down yet, but most of my camp is in shade now, and it's starting to get a little bit later into the evening. I am about to get something to eat, so I need to boil a pot of water. It's going to be hot soup and noodles. Throw in some bean sprouts that I've been holding on to this whole time. Going to take a little while to boil this water up. Actually, it's going pretty fast. Then once I'm done eating, I'm planning on getting this fire started. So that will be next. You know what? I figured the night is still young. Throw a couple little mushrooms in there. Let's see what happens. So I'm just waiting for my psychedelic soup to cool down. And I've got a fire started over here. Actually, I gotta clean it up a little bit, make sure it keeps going. So I finished my soup, which was the bomb. That having the mushrooms in the soup like that, if you were eating it with your eyes closed, you wouldn't even know they were in there. They really soften up and rehydrate boiled in the soup. And to be honest, after eating it, I'm actually feeling them just a little bit. And that's probably only a gram or a gram and a half. My tolerance should have actually built up today, but I have a feeling just having them in the soup like that might have done something. I actually wanted to do a larger trip while I was here on Haida Gwaii, but the days just weren't lining up. If I hadn't actually dosed yesterday, I could have taken a larger dose today. So yeah, the fire is pretty cool burning. I'm just trying to get some more wood to dry out. I actually put a little piece of driftwood on there now, and it's lighting up pretty good. Once I get a good bed of coals going, then I should just be able to get some more of this brush and branches on there, and then finally get one of these pieces of hardwood and at least burn one of them up tonight. So I finally have the fire hot enough that it's laying a nice bed of coals. I can just start dropping those blocks into it. And those two pieces are probably dry enough to throw in now, but I'll wait till the coals spread out a little bit more. So I mean, this is literally going to be my evening, just me chilling, smoking doobies, playing with the fire, just campsite stuff. So I've got a really good fire going now. Damp wood is not the easiest to work with, but I can always get a fire going. I just know how to feed it very slowly, work its way up, get your bed of coals going, start putting stuff in the bottom, get some more air into it, blow, 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 and boom, it just takes off. I gotta be careful what I'm using for blocks because I don't have a lot here. So I'm just gonna build it up a little bit. Maybe drop this piece in, maybe that piece. It's still a little damp, I think. And that should keep it going for quite a few hours of the night anyway. So that's the setup for tonight. I threw in these longer pieces, try and cut them in half with the fire. Already gotten one to split in two. And then once I got them in there, I think I can throw the big guy in. Sun's gone down. It's coming up on 9 o'clock. And I think I am going to call it for the night. I'm not going to be probably filming it anymore. Getting a little drowsy. 11, 12 o'clock, I'll be off to bed. I don't necessarily need to get an early start. I'm going to end this video here, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below. And I'll see you in the next one.